Margaret, look, the purpose we're told of the Credit Guarantee Amendment Bill 2022 is to make amendments to the Credit Guarantee and 2012 to support the needs of businesses in access additional finance. This, according to the government, is in response to economic difficulties resulting from the aggression against Ukraine by Russia, by creating a specific Ukraine Credit Guarantee Scheme. My goodness, what next we call it? Will we change our name altogether? Instead of being Ireland, will we become Ukraine? And the last scheme didn't work. You'd rather not, Minister, an abject failure, because you wouldn't give the money to the small companies. Sorry, you gave the main grubby banks, you gave them the handling of the money, and they wouldn't lend it. I had farmers, I had agricultural contractors, I had business people who were there, had viable business plans. No. And you make the same mistake over and over again. You know, someone told me one time, I was at Einstein, or someone said, keep doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of a mental illness. And you keep doing the same thing here the whole time, which you're beholding to the banks. You're selling off part of AIB now to make more money, I saw today, but this isn't going to work, and it doesn't cut it with me, and it doesn't cut it with ordinary people. As I said, the amount of money you're talking about is staggering figures, but the ongoing dysfunctional, and there are three reasons as I'm concerned, it's the ongoing dysfunctional energy policy in which places an offensive ban on domestic energy sources, especially our own here, if it's not renewable. We all want to be renewable and be green, but we haven't the wherewithal to do it. So we don't get into a car tonight and take off 2 wheels before we go to drive it. You try to keep it going and get it NCT'd and keep it roadworthy and make it passed and taxed and insured and keep your licence and all and drive it. But you only clamour to be greener and holier than thou are doing just complete carology. I could call it a lot worse. And the lack of an LNG facility here is another madness until such times we have the renewables. And then again, our oil prices here, our taxes here are the highest, one of the highest in the world, especially carbon tax. One of our European partners, one country, there was Sweden, deferred the carbon tax 2 weeks ago. Because, why? The cost of living crisis. But no, you want to bring it in, go all it in, like you would go on hay and a fine day making a cock of hay in the field long ago, and have a nice big cock, and to give it out to your friends, the big business people. And that's what you're at. As I said, the providers for the scheme, or the SMEs, are primary producers, supposed to be, and mid-caps, you call them here, defined as businesses up to 490 people. Could I ask you, Minister, what's the minimum number of business that you're going to have before you're allowed to approach for a loan here? Who's looking after the business for the Farawan or the Banawan, one-man show or one-woman show? Who's looking after that? And who's giving them money? And then maybe 1 to 5, maybe a couple of members of the family are 1 to 10. They're the business people that are indigenous business who are being crushed, who are being walked over, who can't keep the lights on at the moment, and then they can't get finance from any source. They get it from the credit union, to be fair to the credit union, but anybody else no. And then we're trying to support the credit unions, and the central bank account moved in at the behest of the government, Minister Noonan at the time, and nobbled them any ideas they got. We went abroad and we looked at banking models. The Sparkle is a model in New Zealand, and the other one in Germany. The models, they have community banking of the people, for the people, by the people. Did you embrace those? Not at all. And when I did research on those, I always thought Germany, actually I've never been to Germany, but I always thought Germany was a massive, Volkswagen and Bosch and all those big companies, the German things that we see, the German products. No. 90% of the companies in Germany are 1 to 50 people, and they have a community banking that lends to the community, and all the profits go back into the community. That wouldn't do in Mother Ireland at all. Not at all, because we couldn't look after the people that look after you, that keep you in power, that bankrolled you for years. Simple as naked truth as that. Why else would you not change and look after the people? You look after the big people all the time. We met with ESB officials today, and I want to thank them for coming to meet as senior officials, and thank the ESB staff on the ground. They work in all weathers, come out at all times, but we had nearly 2-hour meeting, exhaustive meeting really, but there's nothing, we expected something, but they can't do anything because government legislation and the so-called regulator won't allow him to bring down the prices. Imagine, won't allow him. He's meant to be a regulator acting on behalf of the people, Nadine and Éireann. He's supposed to be acting as you are and we are, elected for the time being to represent the people. But you have abandoned the people a long time ago. And that's why you'll be moved out of there fairly soon, and others will be taking place because you've been there now 11 years, and from bad to worse, from the bank bailout to the so-called bailout was a clean-out, and robbery, and you put nothing on a misery on the people. And the regulator won't allow the ESB to drop the costs. And in the courts, and we were delighted for a while that there's legislation being prepared at Europe level that might give us some hope that there'd be reduction. Oh, but oh no. Oh, that can't happen either. Even though legislation is going to be a blaze of glory, you probably fly out again on jets to Europe or some part of Europe for another global summit and meet the global masters and come back and say we're introducing this Europe-wide. But it's not going to come back off your meat on your wall, or off the businessman that can't keep his butcher shop open, or that can't keep his restaurant open, or can't keep any of the businesses that are closing. The one-man show, the two-man show, the 1 to 10, they're the people that are disappearing like snow off a ditch, and they'll be never again replaced. Some of them are family businesses for generations. We lost a bakery in Clonmel Town recently, 62 years. Service to the people because of the cost of electricity was the main reason. And no, you do nothing for them. Your failure to act is a betrayal of the people. You'll bring in bills like this legislation here, you might as well be out using the paper to make some kind of a paper trail for the kids to play in out in the front yard, because that's as far as it's going to get. And you then will come back later on tonight again to rush through legislation, not rush through, but to push through all stages of the Irish Water Bill. And not a great big monopoly. You're like children, they're left out of a school at 5 years of age. Big sandcastle, everything big. You want all these big utility companies. The county councils and the ordinary people and the Bioga, they served this country well. They fought and freed it. They gave us our democracy. They brought us to where we are up till 20, 30 years ago, until you went greedy, mad and plundered our country. I've said it before, I'll say it again, Cromwell didn't do as much damage to this country as what successive last 3 or 4 governments have done. I was a part of the first one in 2007. I'm lucky to be released from the chains of that group, but you have went on your merry way, serving the global leaders of the world, not serving the ordinary Deanie of Éireann.